surprises are always great. Sometimes you're surprised by, a new movie. Sometimes you're surprised by, a celebrity appearance somewhere or a cameo of some sort. Or sometimes you're surprised altogether by just a specific work. Like, whether it be a play or a musical or a script, and I think surprises are always good, specifically when they come in the form of a series. Because, you could watch a movie and be surprised by it, and then if it ends on a cliffhanger, you're like, now we have to wait 2-3 years for this to come back. And I mean, I get it, because I feel that way sometimes, if a movie ends in a certain way, and I'm like, man, I just wish I could, see it again, keep it going, keep the story going, But sometimes you get surprised by a series, a TV series, a series that after I watched the trailer, I was like, this is definitely the type of series I can get behind. And after watching it, I'm happy to announce that things are looking up for Sweetpea. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what Sweetpea is, Sweetpea is a story about a girl named Rhiannon Lewis who goes about her day being invisible. She works at the local newspaper, she visits several areas and stuff, but she's never seen. She's never seen as a person, she's just kind of like, thrown away, or, nobody really cares about her. She tries to get people's attention, but she's never, looked at and seen. And that has frustrated her to the point where she ends up doing some not so great stuff. And I think this is the point where I tell you that I might cover some spoilers in this review, which I don't like to call this a review. It's more of my thoughts of this show. I think that, I've never said this on this channel before, but what I do is I do more my thoughts videos and less reviews. Reviews are more in-depth, more calculated things. My thoughts are just my stream of consciousness talking about a certain, show or TV or movie or whatever. But yeah, that's what it is. These are my thoughts on Sweetpea. And, along with these thoughts, I have to say that, this is definitely something that the producers brought up recently in an interview. I think it was even Ella Purnell herself said that the idea behind the show was to be more like a female Dexter show. And I'm happy to say that this is a lot more than a, female Dexter show. I wouldn't calculate it as a female Dexter show. Are elements of Dexter in the show? Absolutely. Absolutely. In a lot of ways. There is a lot of Dexter, a lot of the DNA that Dexter has in the show. A lot of it. But also, it's also in the same vein as a show like You. If you've watched You before, you can see also a lot of the similarities of Dexter and You. And there's a lot of You in Sweetpea as well. They don't talk about it, but they like to, always refer it to Dexter because Dexter is like the more well-known serial killer series. But I would say that You is a great example as well of what you see in the show, specifically in the form of, obsession, wanting to go after somebody specifically, even if the person has no, criminal background. There is a lot of, work in there that I get to see. And, a lot of that shared DNA between You and Dexter in Sweetpea is a plus. And I say that because ultimately this show ends up being as good as, in a lot of places, as good as those very shows that kind of already emulate this style. So I was pleasantly surprised when I actually watched the entirety of the show and saw that they are setting up some big things in this show. Now, I would like to say that, this show really is meticulous about how it does, its storytelling. We pick up on little details, we pick up on little moments that we have with Rhiannon and the people surrounding her, her high school bully as well. We talk about the people in her life as well, her dad, her sister, who really doesn't care about her own family, with the exception of her dad. Nobody really cares about her. So it really is kind of seeing how this person completely breaks down mentally in order to reach a certain point. So being able to witness that, to see this character evolve from this sort of like very basic little wallflower to this like manic kind of, really like intense character is very interesting. And in parts, I feel like we all can see ourselves in Rhiannon and seeing how she reacts to certain things and how unjustified she feels. But at the same time, you don't want her doing these things because you know that she doesn't need to do these things. But like, it's such an interesting dynamic that this show plays out, and kind of finding ways to justify what she does without actually justifying it is a really interesting concept and really interesting approach to this character. And I feel like in some ways, Rhiannon is a very unique situation. Sweetpea as a whole, the series as a whole, brings about a unique situation, because when we meet people like, say, Joe Goldberg in You, we see him already as a character who has been working, has always been kind of interested in women and seeking out women and that sort of thing. But ultimately, like, we say he's a serial killer, but he's not really a serial killer. He's just an obsessive person who goes after women and tries to lock them up in a glass cage. But it's really difficult to say that he's a serial killer when he's more of an obsessive person. While Dexter, when we meet him in the show, the very first season, he's already an established character. Dexter is already established. He has a job. He already has, a code that he lives by. He doesn't kill innocent people. He doesn't go after different, situations, different types of people. He's going specifically for, either mass murderers or, serial killers of gigantic proportions. But I feel like there's a purpose there, And when we see Sweetpea, we see like a balance of the two. You see her, being obsessed with wanting to be seen and wanting to be liked and wanting this, and that's kind of like the You aspect of the show. And then you have the inner monologues, just like You and Dexter have the inner monologues, which I love. Let me tell you something, shows that have inner monologues, I absolutely love, because it kind of like gets you to see, in a way, but also experience what the person is going through in their heads. Shows that do that are fantastic, that actually give you that inner monologue is fantastic. So being able to hear Rhiannon say like, people I wish to kill, that's a really kind of like hammers home thing, because I feel like everybody has been in a situation where they've been like, oh man, I hate this person, or have had malice in some sort of way to other people. So that's kind of our way of connecting to that character. And I think they really wrote Rhiannon in a very interesting way. Rhiannon is a very unique character because a lot of things happen in a short amount of time that kind of trigger her to become this thing, and seeing that in real time, seeing her at the beginning of the series versus her at the very end of the series is very, very unique in its storytelling capability. And I have to give a big shout out to Ella Purnell. Ella Purnell pulled off incredible odds with this role. It really pushed her. I think that being this very odd character is complicated sometimes, and having to see a character through their inner monologue and also see their actions play out is very interesting, and kind of see how she weaves through these situations. I think, you have to get an actor in a role like this, an actress in the case of Ella Purnell, that can actually navigate these very wide-ranging emotions, and she does that beautifully. She does that fantastically well, and I also have to give props to the people surrounding and being the surrounding characters as well in this case. You have Callum Lynch, you have Nicole Leckie, you have Leah Harvey, which is fantastic. You have John Pointing, who is in this show, I should say, who is fantastic. I mean, every person in this show is fantastic, and I think it sets up a lot of different things as well. I think the show has a lot of potential to grow in multiple directions. It could lean a lot more into the Dexter category, and we see, someone like Rhiannon going and finding people who deserve like death and punishment of some kind, or people who maybe are innocent and she just feels the need to just end their life. So there's a lot of different directions that the show goes in, and I mean the ending of the show kind of leads us to see that. We do see Marina, who is this kind of hardcore cop played by Leah Harvey, who is fantastic in this role. Leah Harvey is fantastic. What an incredible actor. So versatile. Really has, Leah Harvey is this close. I'm not joking. Leah Harvey is this close from getting a role that's going to give her either an Oscar or a BAFTA or both. Again, fantastic actor. One of those people who, are going to be more well known as they show up in more and more things. And in this show is no different. Leah Harvey, in this case, plays Marina, who is this, starting cop, who really wants to get to the bottom of this. And I'm impressed that the show made Marina get to the conclusion that it was Rhiannon who killed, these other people. So I'm impressed that the show really got to the point here. And also, that's another thing as well that I have to give props on the show for, is that it has 6 episodes, and it utilizes those 6 episodes beautifully. I mean, I didn't feel like any episode was filler. Like, each individual one played a much bigger role in understanding what was going on, why, certain things were happening. So, man, I just love what they did with this show, and I just can't wait to see where they go from here, specifically with that ending that they had. So, hopefully, they go in the direction that is more aligned with, what it wants to do. Now that it already created a foundation, Leah Harvey, sorry, I had to make that connection. But now that they've laid the groundworks for this show, I feel like they can go in multiple directions, and this is the perfect way to do it. You get people drawn in, and now we have to wait for another season. Now, there has been no confirmation as to if we're going to get a new season or not, but fingers are crossed, and I'm really hopeful that we do, because I would love to see more of this show. But like I say with all these thoughts videos, these are all my thoughts, my opinions on this show, and I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Do you think that this show is a worthy show to watch? Have you watched it? Have you not watched it? Do you have intention of seeing this show at some point? Come on, let me know down below. I want to hear from you what you think of Sweetpea. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next video.
Scrolling through YouTube, same old routine, then bam, movie savant, what a scene. Trivia bombshells dropping knowledge like rain. Forget the dishes, gotta watch it again. Movie buffs unite, savants to place. Subscribe and hit the bell, don't leave a trace. Next level knowledge keeps you in the loop. Savants got the scoop, ain't nothing to recoup.